Good morning, I'm Diane Macedo. Thanks for streaming with us. In today's update, we start with breaking news from the Supreme Court. In a unanimous ruling, the court struck down a portion of the NCAA's amateurism rules, saying they violate federal antitrust laws. The NCAA is no longer able to bar schools from providing student athletes with education-related benefits like free laptops, tutoring programs, or paid internships. The ruling's being hailed as a win for college athletes, but it doesn't allow salaries for players, something advocates had been hoping for. For the first time in more than a year, Madison Square Garden hosted a sold-out concert. The Foo Fighters played to full and fully vaccinated crowds in New York City last night. There was no social distancing and no masks, as New York's positivity rate remains at its lowest level since the start of the pandemic. But there are growing concerns about the highly contagious Delta variant. It's now in at least 45 states and is expected to become the dominant strain in the U.S. over the next few months. Experts say getting vaccinated is still the best thing you can do to protect yourself. And Iran's president-elect Ebrahim Raisi held a press conference this morning for the first time since he was declared the election winner on Saturday. He called on the U.S. to remove sanctions and return to the original Iran nuclear deal. Talks aimed at reviving that deal have paused temporarily since Raisi's election. He also added that Iran's ballistic missile program is non-negotiable and ruled out a potential meeting with President Biden. And severe weather is on the move after Tropical Storm Claudette tore through the south. As part of that storm, an EF2 tornado ripped through Alabama, destroying more than 50 homes and leaving a path of destruction more than 20 miles long. Elwin Lopez is in Alabama with the latest.
This morning, Claudette moving up the southeast, hitting the Carolinas after leaving behind a trail of destruction this weekend. In Alabama, these dangerous flash floods pouring through the roads. And in East Bruden, Angela Spears is grateful to be alive after she says a tornado sucked her out of her mobile home Saturday.
This loud noise came, and I went flying out the door on the couch.
The National Weather Service now says that an EF2 tornado tore through this area with an estimated 127-mile-per-hour winds, 20 people injured. And this morning, authorities investigating a horrific 17-vehicle pileup on I-65 near Montgomery, after the county coroner says a car likely hydroplaned on rain-slicked roads. 9 of the 10 killed were children. 2 of the victims, 29-year-old Cody Fox and his 9-month-old daughter, Ariana. In another car, 8 children killed. Officials say the youngest, just 3 years old. That van carrying a group from a ranch that helps vulnerable youth. The driver, Candace Goley, the sole survivor.
They were not able to get to the children due to the intensity of the heat.
In Hancock County, Mississippi, the dangerous floods forcing Terrence Ladder and his family to evacuate their home. Rising waters hitting his neck as he pushed through the doors to save his loved ones, making it to his truck bed, waiting until dawn for help to arrive.
You lost everything inside.
Oh, yeah, pretty much bed, clothes, you name it. I'm grateful to be alive.
Officials say a crossing guard lived in what was a home here. One second she was standing inside, the next she was under this green couch. They say miraculously she walked away with just a few scrapes. Diane.
All right, Elwin Lopez, hard to see those images. Thank you. And American Airlines canceled close to 400 flights over the weekend due to major staffing and maintenance issues. And more flights are expected to be canceled next month as a record number of travelers hit the skies. ABC News transportation correspondent Gio Benitez has the details. Hi, Gio.
Hey there, Diane. Good morning. Weather, of course, is a big issue right now, but now we've learned that American Airlines is having major staffing and maintenance issues. Take a look at this right now, because over the weekend, a stunning number of cancellations, 123 flights on Saturday, about 180 yesterday, and already today, about 100 flights have been canceled. Some of those cancellations have happened right before the scheduled flight. Now, why is this happening? Well, the airline tells us a high number of employees are calling out sick. Plus, you've got other staffing issues along with aircraft maintenance. Many airlines are having trouble keeping up with the fast increase in travelers. More than 2 million were screened by TSA on Friday alone. And the issues are not over. American expects to cancel anywhere between 50 and 80 flights per day over the next month. Those are a lot of flights right there. So what should you do if you're caught up in this situation? So many people are traveling. Well, American is telling us that they're actually going to start canceling flights a little bit earlier. That way you have more of a chance to rebook. And again, if it happens to you, this is what you got to do. Grab your phone, open up that airline app. That is going to be the fastest way to handle that rebooking, but you've got to do it right away because you should be able to see those rebooking options right there on the app, Diane.
All right, good tips. ABC News transportation correspondent Gio Benitez, thank you. And they're key players in the climate change fight, but giant sequoias are now in danger, threatened by the very thing they rely on to survive: fire. When we come back, we take a look at the effort to preserve the sequoia tree and what it means for our future. Welcome back. Trees that are key to fighting climate change are now in danger, threatened by fire, the very thing they rely on to survive. These ancient sequoia trees are considered by many to be the largest on planet Earth, and they are known for converting carbon dioxide. Zoreen Shah has more on the wildfires now putting them in jeopardy.
Older than Jesus, older than Muhammad, older than Buddha, older than the Middle Ages. They're just fabulous.
Our planet's timeless, towering treasures.
Wow, they're so cool.
The ancient sequoia trees.
They speak to us as human beings about longevity and time and deep history and resilience.
But that resilience is being tested as human-caused climate change is fundamentally altering the fabric of our planet's forests.
Up until just a few years ago, is just virtually unheard of that fire could actually kill these incredible trees.
Considered by many the largest trees on planet Earth.
You go on a hike to walk around this thing.
General Sherman has stood here an approximated 2,300 years.
These guys are the masters of survival, of weathering insects and fire and storms and drought.
Fighting war after war, armed with a critical weapon that could be key to preserving the planet.
They produce oxygen, they store carbon, they hold the soil in place, they make places for bird nests. These are pretty big.
Sequoia groves like this one among the world's most efficient at sucking up and converting carbon dioxide. But last August, even these masters of survival couldn't make it through the Castle Fire as the wildfire raged through the forest. Chrissy Brigham, the chief scientist overseeing the sequoias at the park, was devastated seeing the charred trees.
It really, sorry, getting teared up, really has been like a multi-stage grief process. When the fire was burning, we got together and rapidly tried to prioritize all the groves that we thought the fire might get through and talk to the fire team about, can you backburn some of these to protect them?
It wasn't enough. This fire was too much for even the strongest giants to bear.
It's heartbreaking and devastating.
A startling report expected later this month details an incredible loss. 10% of the world's native sequoias brought to the ground.
It's thousands of years of living history that were lost in one fire event that we can't get back. We cannot get back in our lifetime. It's going to be hundreds of years.
Part of it is us, human-induced climate change.
The area's gotten hotter and drier, and that the temperatures have changed so much.
You can see we're going to be working right off the generals.
But it's also about past mistakes and an ongoing debate about how to manage our forests. Climate change is supercharging fire conditions, making it a challenge to balance the natural role of fires in ecosystems with the dire destruction these scorching infernos can cause. Firefighters previously aggressively put out every single forest fire, but that strategy, along with recent bone-dry summers, creating tinderbox conditions.
If you had the absence of fire for a period of time, you have a lot of other trees that are growing up that wouldn't normally be there in a natural, healthy forest.
A lot of that unchecked growth providing a ladder for flames to reach the higher-up sequoias, creating far more intense fires.
That combined with drought is what creates the devastating combination of factors that we saw in the Castle Fire.
So now park rangers are intentionally lighting the forest on fire.
So this is how controlled this fire is right now. That guy in the red hat, he's the burn boss. He's watching every inch of these flames to make sure it stays in a prescribed area, just in case he has to trigger a truck right there to jump into action.
And they're doing so to try and save it.
By doing a prescribed burn, we're mimicking some of those effects of what naturally occurs and has occurred for thousands of years.
On this day, about 50 park firefighters were in the field, closely torching extra fuel just feet away from the visitors' entrance.
You can feel just how hot this fire is, and the fuel is so dry, this fire is spreading rapidly.
Close to 3,000 people live in the adjacent communities.
We realized that we really need to take a proactive approach to fire management. We can't just be playing defense anymore.
The inside of the Sequoias providing clues to the past. Every hole you see here is a fire scar.
It tells us what the conditions were like as this tree survived multiple low-intensity natural fires for generations.
Sequoias actually rely on low-intensity fires to survive. The natural blazes help the trees create offspring.
And that means not necessarily putting out every single fire.
We don't want to put out every single fire. We want to make sure that we're managing fire for what the conditions and what these species actually need.
Letting the park burn in hopes of saving the sequoia species.
You can do it. I think you're going to beat that other one. Just hang in there, buddy. We're looking out for you.
And in turn, these ancient trees looking out for our planet's future.
So what do you think, Christy? Your grandkids, are they going to see this park like this?
Maybe not just like this, but I hope a lot of it will be the same.
Sounds like this is going to be the fight of your life. You're not going to leave.
I don't have any plans to leave. They've been here for 2,000 years. The least I can do is put in a good 10 or 15 on their behalf.
Zoreen Shah, ABC News, Sequoia National Park.
Zoreen Shah, thanks for that. And that does it for this ABC News Live update. I'm Diane Macedo. Thanks for joining us. And remember, ABC News Live is here for you all day with the latest news, context, and analysis. I'll see you back here at 3 p.m. Eastern with Terry Moran for The Breakdown. Stay safe.
Shock, disbelief, anger, and bewilderment. All words that describe the reaction here and around the country today to the two words spoken last night in a Washington courtroom, not guilty. John W. Hinckley, Jr., the man who shot the president and 3 others, will soon enter a hospital, not a prison. With great dignity, his victims, Timothy McCarthy, Thomas Delahanty, James Brady, all declined to comment today on the verdict. And so did the man who was Hinckley's principal target on March 30th, 1981.
Do you have any reaction to the Hinckley verdict?
You think justice was done, sir?
No comment, Sam.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.